Welcome back to another edition of Once a King, Always a King. And today we are talking about the one and only Jason Thompson, everybody.
JT.
Johnny, show the camera.
JT.
Show them your jersey, baby.
The real JT.
Let's go, Jason Thompson.
Stand on up.
Justin Timberlake ain't got nothing.
This is the real JT.
It's the real JT.
This is the legend right here. It's only right that we talk about this man, Jason Thompson. Let's just get right into it. This man, he went to college. RT, where'd he go?
Rider University.
My God, he's good at his knowledge. He's so good. That is correct. He played at Rider for how many years?
4 years.
Oh my gosh. Should I just quiz you the whole time?
Probably on stage right now.
My brain needs a break from all the quizzes and trivia. That's all it needs to be.
Do some Mo hiding behind this couch.
So in his 4 years at Rider University, he averaged 16.7 points and 9.6 rebounds across 4 years at Rider. That's pretty impressive.
Monster.
He was, oh my God, that guy was crazy.
Monster.
Okay, so then, he played from 2004 to 2008. It was only right that in 2008, he would get drafted 12th overall to the Sacramento Kings. Let's talk about that 2008 draft really quick. What stands out to you most about that draft class?
Derrick Rose being drafted number 1. I think Russell Westbrook was drafted 4, I believe. I think it was like 3 or 4. I can't remember. But it was like one of those. I think Russell Westbrook was in that draft. And then Michael Beasley was the 2 pick. Yeah, Michael Beasley was the 2 pick.
So much hype coming in.
I know. I was hyped, but...
You know what they say about Michael Beasley? Your favorite player's favorite player.
That's right.
Michael
favorite
Beasley.
player.
He was a bucket.
Favorite player's favorite player. But
yeah. Pretty solid. I mean,
that's a solid class.
The whole draft class was mostly Derrick Rose, though.
Yeah, it was Derrick Rose.
A lot of top talent near the top end of the draft. But at pick 12, it's not... We didn't miss on too many guys, right?
Yeah, Jason Thompson, through the names really quick, just so we know.
We had Jason Thompson at 12, some notables drafted after him. Roy Hibbert at 17, JaVale McGee at 18, Maurice Spates at 16, Costa Koufis at 23, our favorite player, Serge Ibaka at 24, DeAndre Jordan, second round pick. So, not the most. It's not like we picked Jason Thompson over a lot of better options as far as, how many games he contributed for us and how well he played. And especially when you're picking at pick 12, we're not going to have a chance at a Derrick Rose or an Eric Gordon or a Danilo Gallinari or a Russell Westbrook or a Kevin Love. So at 12, I wouldn't mind. I don't mind JT.
Yeah, so for a lot of Kings fans, I always talk bad about our draft pick. So this one was solid.
This one was
a solid pick.
This was solid.
At number 12, great value. Let's dive right in.
I mean,
rookie.
He averaged 20 and 12 his senior year with
a Rider.
2.7 blocks a game too.
So
that's impressive.
With that being your last season in college coming into the draft, that's a steal at number 12.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So rookie year, another underappreciated thing about Jason Thompson. I know Johnny was saying this earlier before recording. He was saying how consistent he was.
Yeah.
Well, talk about consistency without missing games.
Yeah.
First season playing all 82 for a rookie is pretty impressive.
All 82,
he averaged 11.1 points and 7.4 rebounds in 82 games his rookie year. Not too far off from his college stats. So that's pretty good.
That's pretty impressive.
Good.
Started over half of our games. He came in and made an impact right away. I just remember how ferocious he was with rebounding. Back in, it was obviously... We would transition eventually to a 3-point shooting era, but it was still kind of a dominant big era, right? In 2008, 2009. So he was a solid 4 for us, grabbing 7.4 rebounds his first year, averaging 11 points. We asked him to do a lot. We asked him to play a lot that first year, and he handled it well.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I always will remember Jason Thompson, whenever he started, was just a solid contributor, always could be reliable to grab the rebound. Just was a great floor spacer too. Just was able to just play on the defensive side, but knew his role really well, which was just rebounding. And he just was setting the standard for just what a power forward should do in the NBA at his size. Because I think it was 6'10", I believe.
6'10",
yeah, 6'10". So at 6'10", when you're able to rebound that well, that's a pretty good stat.
I believe he was 6'10", 250, which that sounds familiar to basketball fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the same build as LeBron James at the power forward position. So as a Kings fan, you can't complain much with that. And then again, cherry on top, playing all 82 games, starting half of those games, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And that was before the DeMarcus era. So, he was our big, and what you were saying before, that era was perfect for him to thrive in. Mm-hmm. as his years went on, like the game started shifting, and that's where the bigs were all shooting threes, and that's where his game didn't really mesh well, but right away it did.
Yeah,
and you could see it on the stat sheet. I mean, he had some monster performances.
He had a nice little pick and pop too. He had a nice little mid-range jumper. Never developed a 3-point shot, but his mid-range jumper was always cash money.
It was pretty like a 3-point shot for a big was like non-existent at the time.
Right.
So like that lethal mid-range,
you
elbow
needed that.
jumper.
Yeah,
that's pretty solid.
C-web pick and pop.
Yeah, solid.
He was a good screen setter too.
For sure.
I mean, you were just mentioning his measurables, but yeah, he was just a big guy to have on the court, and he played hard
every night. Every night.
I agree.
So let me give you an overview. This man played. I'm going to make it into a trivia question for RT.
Okay.
I like that.
So this man played 541 games in a Sacramento Kings uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that rank on the list of games played in the Sacramento era? So when the team moved from Cincinnati to Sacramento, where does that rank?
I feel like based on the Sacramento era, because there's been players that have been longer before and after him, I would say he is like 13th on that list. That might be a little bit too low, but I think it's among the right range with just some of the players that have been there a little bit longer. I'll comfortably say 13th.
Okay, you say 13th. You know what? I'm going to open the floor to Johnny Miner. Do you want to back up your boy Ryan Clark on this one, or do you want to shoot for the stars?
So ranking for Kings players all-time games?
Most games played for Sacramento once we moved to Sacramento. So not like we're not including like the Oscar Robertsons, the Jerry Lucases.
I'm gonna say he's first or second.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Ryan Clark was stumped on this episode of Kings Trivia. Johnny Miner was correct. Jason Thompson is first.
Whoa! Let's go.
Okay, that's cool.
That's a good
Loyalty.
That's a good
That's a good.
love.
Yeah, that's a good.
Loyalty's
That's a good one.
Because if you think about it, Jason Thompson played with the Kings from 2008 to 2015,
right?
And with all those consistencies of not missing games, they add up to 541,
right?
And that is number one in Sacramento history, which is crazy.
That's impressive,
and it's just awesome to see because. Fast forwarding to the playoff run that we had, Jason Thompson came back and was showing love to his old team. He came and he was sitting courtside watching the game. So it was just cool to see. He will forever have, like, his name will forever be remembered in Sacramento history. So that is just awesome.
Seriously, yeah.
So more stats. Let's just make this trivia style. We'll make it fun. So with the Kings, he grabbed 3,746 rebounds. A lot, right? Where does that rank?
Second.
I'll say fourth.
Okay, it was 10th. He's number 10. He's number 10. He's number 10.
Oh, does that include like all the eras? That's probably what it was.
With everyone. Yeah.
Everyone.
But still, 10. There's some monster boys on that list. You know? So being number 10 is pretty crazy. Career blocks. He had more than 500 or less than 500?
Say less.
I'll say less.
You guys are both correct. 394 blocks for Jason Thompson.
Yeah, he was never really a shot blocker.
But still.
He could still do it. Yeah,
he could still do it, but...
Still do it.
He did make
a lot for a 4.
He made the list.
Yeah.
What number do you think?
On the list?
On the list of Sacramento Kings royalty for block shots.
I'd like, among all of it, I'd say like 7th.
Second.
Ryan Clark is correct. 7.
Wow.
That's actually pretty crazy that you guessed that. That's amazing.
7.
Wow. That's insane. So, yeah, clearly just looking back on those stats, I mean, he played a ton of games. He grabbed a lot of boards, and he blocked some shots. So that, like, for a power forward position at that time, like, that's all you could ask for.
Yeah.
It's just filling up the stat sheet. I mean, obviously, it didn't result in many wins during that 2008 to 2015. But, I mean... For Jason Thompson's sake, that guy is on the list in Kings history forever. So
yeah, he was always a model of consistency. I mean, growing up, it was like you just knew who our starting 4 was, right? Before we got Boogie, he was starting next to Samuel Dallenberg, but he was always in our starting lineup. And him and Boogie, when they actually, when we actually got Boogie and he was on our team, they actually made a decent pairing because Boogie was able to play more outside. Thompson was more in the post. But yeah, it was fun watching them two take the court together.
I agree. I think it was just so cool to watch somebody that could just rebound the ball and just be a reliable rebounder. And you just knew the production you were going to get with him, and that was going to be solid enough. Like people say that like Jason Thompson was a bust, but like to us, I think like he was solid enough to be where he needed to be. I think like 12 or 13, everybody's expecting like to have this breakout like player in the late lottery, but it's okay sometimes to have like a solid player on your roster.
And he just got drafted in an era where the bigs were expected to shoot the ball eventually, right? If you didn't have an outside jumper consistently, you're not going to play. So the fact that he's able to play so many games for us, be our all-time leader in games, without a consistent three-point jump shot just shows that, you know, he was so good at other things. Exactly. I think he just got drafted at the wrong time.
I mean, but in the beginning years, I mean, it fit in that era, but yeah, fast forwarding to now, because, you know, he actually ended up playing all the way up until about 2021. Yeah. But that was overseas at the time. So he's still, I mean, I'm curious to look back on some film from the international day, see if he finally got that 3-point shot down. But so let's talk about his career highs in points. So do you think he had above 30 or under 30 for career high in his 7-year stint?
Let's say under 30.
I think under. He got close, like 28.
28? What's your guess?
Say like 22.
27 was his career high in points.
There you go.
That was in 2009, so only 1 year after being drafted, which is pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
And then I have another awesome stat for you. What do you think his career high in rebounds was? Above 25 or lower than 25?
27.
I'll say lower.
What do you think, Ryan?
I think like 20.
20?
Yeah.
20 flat?
Yeah.
Well, you guys were both wrong. It was in the middle. It was 22 rebounds.
Wow.
And that game was in 2015, so towards the end of his Kings era, against the Los Angeles Clippers. And not only did he grab 22 rebounds, he scored 23 points.
Wow.
That is a 2020 game. So, and as we all know, 2020s don't happen every night normally. So this is kind of a big deal for a guy like Jason Thompson to, again, have a monster performance like that will always be in the record books.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I like that.
Yeah, so Jason Thompson, I mean, a 2020, I mean, just speaking off of Kings players, off the top of our head, I know obviously Sabonis has done it numerous times. Chris Webber, even Rashawn Holmes got a 2020 game. But yeah, Jason Thompson to be amongst that list right there.
That's a good list.
That's a great list. That's great to be. And then one more stat I wrote down, double-doubles. Obviously in college, 16.7 points, 9.6 rebounds in college. His rookie year, 11.1, 7.4 rebounds. So he's close on his averages. So where do you think in those 7 seasons with Sacramento, how many double-doubles do you think Jason Thompson had?
Do you give us a over-under?
Oh, I could do that. Over 150, under 150.
Like double-doubles?
Double-doubles.
I'll take over.
I'll go under.
Do you want to give a guess, Johnny?
155.
155? What about you?
I will go 95.
Oh my gosh, you were so close. 93. 93.
Yeah,
93 double.
Because he didn't really play that long of a time. Because like double doubles were just not like a big thing in that time. Because like
it was never like
it was in
today's game.
In today's game, it's like a lot bigger. But now it's a lot because the pace was a lot slower back then too. Mm-hmm. There was not a lot of threes being made. The game has changed now where like shots are getting up quicker. It was like also before the shot clock era too, so like the quick shot clock 14.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So that like changes a little bit too, because now like offensive rebounds would have been way more bigger too, so that changes a little bit too.
Yeah. So 93 double doubles. And yeah, so what do you think of Jason Thompson's career in the Sacramento uniform overall? Like, did he meet your expectations? Did he exceed them?
Absolutely.
For a 12th pick?
Met him.
I mean, obviously we weren't winning at the time, but he was just a model of consistency. You know, he was just a player that you knew what you were going to get out of that night. It seemed like he didn't really have off nights. I want to compare him kind of, I know he's not the same size, but kind of like a Draymond Green, just a guy who's going to set hard screens. He was an underrated passer too, right? He had a decent pass game for a big man. And I think he was just someone who, even though, you know, we were down a lot in games, he was just someone who was going to bring it every single night. And I think that's why he played so long with us, is our front office knew it, appreciated it, the fans appreciate it. And he was a good guy you wanted in your locker room as well.
Yeah, I agree.
And I also think like maybe the organization at the time was thinking they wanted to like build around the bigs. You know, obviously, you know, with Jason Thompson at the 4, later again DeMarcus at the 5. We were it was a weird franchise organizationally at that point in time, but you know, we were trying to build something around a big style of play. And so Jason Thompson, I mean, what about you, RT? What do you think, what is his player comp in today's game?
I think his player comp today, wow, that's really hard. It's got to be somebody that can rebound, because I'd say like a rebounding, like his rebounding is a lot like Domas when he rebounds. Like he just is so solid. Rudy Gobert, the way he rebounds, just is able to control the glass. Obviously it's not like the same level defensively when you block shots. So I'd probably say like he's like a lot like Domas. And I know that might be biased because we're all Kings fans, but I think that's a very fair assessment with just how his rebounding comp is and just how his build is pretty much almost like Domas's. But
yeah,
I probably would say that like that's his player comp, just based on like the way he rebounds the ball and just able to control the glass.
He was an underrated playmaker for sure. But I think the thing that stands out was just the way he was able to attack the rim. Like I remember his dunk on Chris Kaman back when we played New Orleans, and he had a pick and roll with Jimmer Fredette, and Jimmer Fredette gave him a little nice little shuffle pass, and he just dunked all over Chris Kaman. And every time he was attacking the rim, it was just with ferocity and
aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of a little bit of like a Jonas Valanciunas a little bit.
For
like
sure.
A tough screener.
Very physical.
You know, Jonas, I mean, obviously he's a double-double rebounding machine all the time as well. So I think, and then they both have that little mid-range jumper. Mm-hmm. Now Jonas, obviously he figured out how to extend it to the three-point line. But yeah, that was my player comparison. I think they had a lot of similarities.
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah. What do you think... like if he was drafted, say 5 years ago, like what do you think? How do you think he would fit in today's game with how he was as a player then?
I don't think it changes. I think his game still stayed the same. Maybe he adds like a long range shot to his game, but I just think it stays the same no matter what. I think like just a matter of just having a rebounder that's consistent. That's just going to be physical on defense. That is kind of what you're looking for as a big man in today's game, is just being physical. Getting boards. I don't think his role necessarily changes. I think it just stays the same. No matter what era he was playing in, he was just going to just be consistent the entire way through. So I think that it doesn't really change that much.
Yeah, the reason why I brought that up is because I feel like he would fit perfectly on our team now.
Yeah,
I think he would be a great 4. Because right now, I mean, obviously we have Keegan at the 4, but I think either starting or coming off the bench, that would be a great guy to have on our team right now.
Yeah, he's just the guy that's going to do the dirty work, right? I don't think necessarily if he were drafted today that he'd be a starter as long as he was, just because of his lack of a jump shot. But he's a guy that you want on your team just because he's going to do the dirty work. He's going to be an enforcer in the paint. He's going to be your muscle, right? So the lack of the 3 is the only thing I can see that would hold him back in today's NBA. But you still want him on your team with how hard he plays with rebounding. And
I agree. I think he's a good motor player for us. Like just motor, drive, will. I think he fits all that categories like really well, and I think that Jason Thompson would fit in any era, really.
Yeah, and even more so just off the court. He was just awesome in the Kings community. I know he was really good with like philanthropies and different basketball camps and stuff. He would do a lot here locally, so you really can't ask for more from a consistent player that's going to play hard, but is also good with the community and the people that support the team.
No, yeah, he really loved the city. I mean, he was doing so much for us outside. So he would have.
I remember when he would dress up like Santa Claus in the holiday.
Yeah, there's just a lot of fun memories that are coming to mind now. Yeah. Oh, one thing that a fun memory is, it was his rookie year, and I remember reading that he forgot, because like remember like the rookie duties and stuff. It still happens today, but it was a little bit more of a responsibility back then. Mm-hmm. And one of his rookie duties was to bring bagels and cream cheese to all the practices. Mm-hmm. And he slipped up one day, forgot to bring the Noah's bagels or whatever bagels are eating back at Arco Arena. Yeah. And the veterans taught him a valuable lesson about don't forget your duties. And you know what they did? Ryan, do you happen to remember?
They put popcorn in his car, didn't they?
Yeah, they filled his car, his Escalade, to the brim with popcorn. They filmed a video about it. It went on YouTube back in the early YouTube days, and it had over like 1 million views in the first day, which was crazy back then. Yeah. So now that I think about it, like, do you think was that like the first time? Because now you see that happening pretty often now with rookies. And obviously, in like that LeBron James Bronny commercial, filling it up with Fruity Pebbles. Like,
Yeah.
Now, like the question brings up, like, did the Sacramento Kings start that trend?
Hey, they might have.
I think they did. I really
so.
think they did.
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah, it didn't necessarily translate to wins, but we
But they
definitely
had
held
fun.
our
No, they
venues
had fun.
accountable, and
Team chemistry was at an all-time high.
yeah. And I remember him and Dante Green had their show together, and yeah, dude, that was an entertaining group, man. Not a lot of wins, but they were entertaining.
No, they had
Pioneer
fun. They knew how to have
YouTube, and
fun. Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah, that was all-time moment right there.
Yeah, the Jason Thompson era was definitely one you'll never forget. So moving on from Sacramento, he ends up getting picked up by the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
So he gets picked up by them for the 2015-2016 season. And it was looking very promising for Jason Thompson to leave Sacramento and walk away with a championship ring. Unfortunately, that did not happen the 2015-2016 year. They ended up blowing a 3-1 lead to the Cleveland Cavaliers at the time. And then the following year, he gets picked up by the Toronto Raptors. And then from there, he played, I think it was 6 years overseas. He was just bouncing around. So he loved basketball enough to just keep playing all the way. And he was all over the world at that point. And then fast forward to 2022, he became the assistant coach for Ryder. And then
Backwards started.
He was there for a couple of years, and then fast forward to now, he is a assistant coach for the Sioux Falls Skyforce in the G League. So he obviously basketball is a huge part of his life still, and he is teaching all the young guys what it's like. So
I wish the Kings would remember him in some way. I mean, he was such a consistent guy with us, like I was saying, and it'd be nice to have like a Jason Thompson night. Or I don't know if they've had that yet.
I don't know if
not
they
necessarily
have
a jersey retirement, but just a way to show love to him, because it really was transparent that he loved the community and we really liked him back.
I think a bobblehead night would be fun.
that would be fun.
Yeah,
I think
just
he's
like-
deserving of that.
Yeah, like
for
a
sure.
bobblehead would be cool. It has like a nice smile, has a nice face to it. His smile is actually really, really nice too. I really like.
He's a good looking dude.
Yeah, he's a very good looking dude.
Yeah.
But
that actually brought up another question, because in the Philadelphia 76ers, they at their practice court, they like with the Allen Iverson statue, it was like a small statue. They do it with all of their like their legends that played for Philadelphia, and they have like a small monument for them, not like the big ones you see outside of the Lakers Stadium or that new Dwayne Wade one, but they have some type of something to remember these players by. I think maybe like the Kings should do something like that, either at our practice facility or I don't know, outside of Golden One, but just some way to show appreciation for the guys that put in a lot of time for our
absolutely.
team. And I think
through
Jason
hard
Thompson's
times.
definitely deserving, not of a jersey retirement per se, but I would like to see some type of love shown to that guy for sure.
He was there through the relocation drama, through ownership changes, and coaching changes, obviously. So he stayed loyal through it all, and he did it all with a smile on his face.
That
$1
million
deserves-
smile.
yeah,
according to RT,
no
right?
complaints. Yeah, no complaints.
Yeah, so Jason Thompson was a great King, and we just want to thank you for being a part of Sacramento history. I mean,
Thanks, JT.
we love your jersey. This one's an autographed jersey by you, by the way.
This one's signed.
And we hope that Sacramento will honor you in a certain way somehow, either through just like a Jason Thompson night, bobblehead night, or maybe something more. Who knows? But that was another episode of Once a King, Always a King. Jason Thompson,
JT,
you're a legend. The
Legend.
real JT, right, Johnny?
The real
That's right.
JT.
That's right.
Sit down, Timberlake.
Yeah. Subscribe for more. We got more Once a King, Always a King episodes coming up. Turn your notifications on so that way you do not miss an episode. Thank you so much.
And let us know what Kings players you want us to do next.
Yeah, leave a comment too. We would love to take suggestions.
During those losing seasons in the late 2000s, right? A lot of players are to be remembered properly. So
And that's what we're here to do. We're here to shed a light on all of them. And that's what we're here to do, and we're going to continue to do it. Let's go, boys.
yeah.
Let's go.